What's going on, guys? This is Mike Hill, the Wholesaling Titan, and today I'm going to show you why right now is the best time to get started in wholesaling. And look, you've probably heard the best time to get started in wholesaling is yesterday, and the second best time is today. You know, that whole cliche, right? And that's 100% true. You should never wait to get started, but that's not what I'm talking about here. Today, I want to show you some objective, tangible, and kind of surprising data showing you unique factors in the marketplace happening right now that present some of the best opportunities that we've seen in years. And I can't take credit for this video, okay? This one is inspired by a recent article written by my original wholesaling mentor, where he shares some of his personal stories and kind of signs of the time based on his 30-ish years in the game. So shout out to Lex Levinrat. So listen up. Everybody and their mom's got an opinion on the housing market right now. You hear it on the news, you hear it at cookouts, you see it scrolling your feed. Rates are coming down soon. You can refinance later. Home prices always go up in the long term. And this is all conventional wisdom. And one of the biggest takeaways I want you to have from today's video is that you need to be very skeptical of this conventional stuff, right? Of the headlines you see. I don't care if it's on CNN or Fox or MSNBC or in a Facebook group or on social media. You got to be really careful not to get caught up in that herd mentality, because it can more or less slaughter you in this business, or at least cause you to miss out on huge opportunities. But if you think independently, and if you look at actual data and not just headlines, then you'd be able to position yourself for the opportunity of a lifetime. And that's exactly why now is going to be the best time for you to get into wholesaling real estate. And to start this discussion, I want to hit you with some history really quickly. Here we have a graph of real estate purchases made by investors in Miami from 2000 up until present day. My mentor got into the game around 2001. And then we'll see that 2008, remember our Great Recession, bank bailout, all that good stuff. The market kind of bottomed out here in 2009. This was absolutely the best time to buy properties. And man, that sucks because I got so close, right? I got into the game in 2012. But despite it being the objective kind of best time to buy, there were only 397 investor purchases at that time. And my mentor Lex was buying properties for $35,000 that today, by the way, are worth $350,000. So that's 10x just in terms of value. We're not even talking about passive income rental or anything like that. Now, during this entire time, his friends, peers would chastise him and ask him questions, say, man, that is so risky. The market's going down. Why would you do that? How could you buy something for $35,000 that was just worth $200,000? And his reply to them was, he felt they were at the bottom of the market, but his reply was, if prices continue to drop, then Wall Street is just going to start buying single family homes. And that's exactly what happened 2 years later. But during this time, as these prices are crashing, the media was all doom and gloom. Okay, Vanity Fair literally dropped an article called "The Ponzi State," basically saying that home ownership was dead. And if you listen to them, you would have missed the bottom. Now, let's go ahead and fast forward to 2022, right? So this is our post-COVID world, and all of a sudden we see this massive spike here, the top of the market. Here, investors were buying more than ever. So coming from our 397 in that whole year, 4,412 purchases in just one quarter. That is the most in history of Miami investor purchases. And so the headlines everywhere were saying things like, prices are booming, buy now, do not miss out. The National Association of Realtors even ran a headline that said, single family home prices display double-digit increases in 80% of 185 metro areas. So to the casual, The headline made it sound like real estate was booming and you would miss the boat if you didn't buy. But again, that's that group thing. This was actually some of the worst time to buy. And if you can guess what happened next, prices clearly just tanked. Okay. Miami's median price in terms of value dropped almost 18% in a single year. And people who bought then, they lost equity very, very quickly. So you got to remember this, right? When everyone's scared, that's your time. When everyone's very confident, that's kind of your warning. And that goes back to Warren Buffett's famous quote, be fearful when others are greedy and get greedy when others are fearful. So I'm going to get back to why the timing is ideal for wholesalers right now, some specifics in the marketplace. But I'm going to take a second to make a point specific to us as wholesalers. Now, remember, as a wholesaler, you are the middleman. So you are dealing with both buyers and sellers. And what that means is that we can profit in any economy. So even some of these cautionary tales I'm giving you guys, this is a little bit, I guess, more important for like an end buyer. But if we go back, right, where it bottomed out, the market bottomed out here, you'll notice that this is when your experienced investors, institutional buyers, people with deep pockets, liquid buyers, these guys know that you buy at the bottom, right? So this is your experienced buyers here. And at this time, there'll be less competition. A lot of other wholesalers will be listening to the doom and gloom. So there's going to be less competition. There are going to be more properties available. They're going to be available for lower prices. So you're able to scoop those up with far less competition at lower prices. And then you will sell those to your experienced investors. So you have an opportunity as a wholesaler to take advantage of the bottom of the market. Now, at the same time, at the top, even though I just told you guys, this is not necessarily the best time to be investing and buying in real estate during these spikes. However, the masses, that's how they're moving. And so at this point, when you have headlines and social media saying, don't miss out, real estate's going up, and it's cyclical, right? Real estate is always going to have these cycles. But when the masses and social media and CNBC and CNN and all these money shows are telling everyone to buy, that's when a lot of people may pull money out of their nest egg, or they're going to be, mom and pops, or they're going to be pulling from retirement accounts, or, even just some optimistic investors are going to jump in there. And so there's going to be a lot of activity. So even at these spikes, when I wouldn't necessarily recommend that you guys buy, for maybe like fixing and flipping at the very spike. And again, some of that's a little bit speculative in nature because you don't necessarily know exactly when it's going to start heading down. But my point is there's a lot of activity happening there. So at that point, you will always still have people who are thinking it's a great time to buy and I'm going to buy. And that's when the masses buy. So my point here is that whether you are kind of at the bottom or at the top as a wholesaler, because you're just the middleman and you're not even taking on any risk, you can still profit. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about the opportunities and unique conditions that are happening right now. Before I do, just a quick reminder, if you want to learn how to wholesale without all the fluff and go through a results-driven, actionable training on this, you can grab full lifetime access to my entire wholesaling university completely for free. That includes my updated step-by-step wholesaling course, contracts, forms, ebooks, tools, calculators, all the resources you need to do deals. It's free forever. With that, you also get a 7-day trial of my AI marketing software, REI Titan. So you can grab those at wholesalingwithmike.com. And then number two, if you have more questions or if you're interested in working one-on-one with me, you can book a free call with me at wholesalingwithmike.com/call. And I'll put links to all that stuff down in the description below. Okay, so moving on. Let's start with what's the conventional wisdom out right now, right? Rates are coming down. Hold on. Date the rate, marry the house. There's a permanent housing shortage. There's no inventory. Millennials don't buy houses. Renting is throwing money away. Like, these are all the narratives that are kind of being pushed. But the data, if you guys dive into the data suggests otherwise, okay? Banks are tightening lending. FHA loans are in trouble. There's over a 10% delinquency rate. The Adam Company, right? The Adam Group. This is a leading curator of land, property data, and real estate analytics. Found that U.S. foreclosure filings are up 18% from a year ago. August marked the sixth consecutive month of year-over-year increases in U.S. foreclosure activity and the third straight month with double-digit annual growth. Nationwide, one in every about 3,900 homes had a foreclosure filing in August 2025. And in states like Nevada, California, and Florida, that number is closer to one in like every 2,000. Lender repossessions through completed foreclosures shows an increase of 41% from last year. FHA's COVID era protections are about to expire in about another 2 weeks or so. And if proposed cuts for federal housing go through next year, we're going to see a lot of landlords become motivated sellers really quickly. And so, yes, I am adding a bit of speculation here, but this is one of the biggest, if not the biggest opportunity that we could see next year. The Trump administration has proposed major cuts to federal housing programs. Specifically, the administration is pushing for a 40+% cut to HUD funding. That means less money for Section 8 vouchers, less for public housing, and in some cases, tenants could lose assistance after just 2 years. On top of that, federal support would be pushed down to states through block grants. So if you're a landlord who rents to Section 8 tenants, this is going to be a problem because that guaranteed rent check, the part that the government pays directly to you, that might not be so guaranteed anymore. So tenants could lose their voucher, payments could shrink or dry up, vacancies and evictions will rise. And without that subsidy, a lot of landlords won't be able to cover their mortgage, their taxes, or their repairs. That's going to create some real financial pressure. And that's where we come in, okay? When landlords are stressed, when they're not making their payments, that's when they become motivated sellers. There's going to be more distressed properties hitting the market. More landlords want out. You can lock up these properties at a discount. We saw there's going to be increase in foreclosures. It's already increasing. Short sales, distressed properties, and all of these kind of chaotic things create opportunities in the marketplace, okay? Even with the HUD stuff, every state could have different rules and funding may not stretch as far, okay? So even though, again, as a wholesaler, you can do very, very well during the economic booms, you can also do well during these times where there's going to be a lot of, I guess, kind of chaos, right? These foreclosures, these distressed properties, a lot of doom and gloom going on in the media, falling prices. It's going to create a lot of opportunity for you and the ability to come in and wrap up properties, get them under contract when there is less competition, right? Less activity happening and doing it at much, much lower prices. So this nonsense about, well, nobody's buying right now. I hope I've made it clear. There will always be buyers for good deals. These, again, will typically be your maybe smarter, but more experienced investors who don't follow the headlines, don't follow the masses. Understand you do not need perfect market conditions to wholesale, okay? And you'll actually thrive on the problems that exist. That's what you get paid to do. Like, we come in, we solve problems, right? Even on a micro level, sellers got liens, that's great, right? House needs permits or repairs, that's even better. You got to evict the tenant, great, right? The problems are where, solving the problems is where the money is made, okay? And this, again, it goes in contrast to everything that you are probably hearing. So just take all that conventional stuff, all the headlines with a grain of salt. Acknowledge that problems equal profits, step in, lock up contracts, flip them for 10,000 plus. And then one last thing I wanted to mention was interest rates. That's all the buzz right now, cutting of the interest rates. And if you're waiting on that and you think that's going to fix all your problems and fix up the marketplace, it's not the magic bullet that the media makes it out to be, okay? If we look back in 2007 to 2008, the Fed slashed interest rates from 5.25% down to 0.25%. Biggest cut since the Great Depression. And what happened to Miami real estate? Prices fell over 50%. So no, lower rates do not automatically save the market. They did not do it then. They won't now. So right now, inventory is building. Sellers are stressed. Banks are nervous. Foreclosures are ticking up. And everybody's waiting around for the all clear. But the all clear is basically, that comes after the money's already made. So, yes, again, a lot of this cautionary information is more important to an end buyer because, as I demonstrated a few times, right, kind of beating this dead horse, you're going to make money in any economy as a wholesaler as long as you know how to position yourself correctly. But again, despite that doom and gloom you hear from the media about falling home prices and nobody buying, there truly are some fantastic opportunities right now to crush it, and you do not want to miss the boat. So the people who start wholesaling in this cycle, right? They're going to look back 5 years from now and say, man, that was the best damn decision I ever made. And you can either procrastinate, waiting for those rates to drop, waiting for the news to tell you it's safe, waiting to see headlines that say buyers are buying again, or, you can wake up, look at the data, see the opportunity here, right? And realize that now really is the best time to start wholesaling real estate in recent years. Don't be a fool at the end. Be the wise one in the beginning, okay? Guys, please leave any questions, any comments, any thoughts on this subject down in the comment section below. If you want me to expand on anything, let me know what you guys are thinking, what you're feeling, what you're hearing about the market. Let me know what video topic you think I should cover next. Always looking for new ideas. Thanks to Lex for the inspiration and really for, again, starting me in this business. About 13 years ago now. Remember to grab your free wholesaling course and book your one-on-one call using the links below. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. Please like and subscribe. Helps out a great deal. And on that note, so I will see you in the next video. All right. Have a good one, guys. Thanks. Peace.